Have you ever wondered what you needed to do to take your environments to the next level? Are you a beginner in Unreal and after doing your landscapes you find that they look empty or lifeless? Look no further, I'll be showing you how to do environmental VFX for your maps without any knowledge required in VFX. The goal of this tutorial is to grab a previous environment made by Mao and from scratch make it into an impressive snowstorm. You will learn materials and particle systems inside of Unreal Engine, really simple textures inside of Substance, and at the end we will be adding post-process to make the scene look amazing. Remember that the project files will be inside of our UNF store on free training, and if you want access to all of our premium tutorials, please don't hesitate to become a patron. So what are you waiting for? This is going to be lots of fun. I hope to see you there. Alright, so before we start, you must know that we're using a map that Mao made sometime before. And to get it, we'll give you the link for the OneDrive, or you can also go to his tutorial and make it with him, right? So what we're trying to do is make some environmental effects to make it look more cinematic, right? Maybe we're thinking about creating a snowstorm. Maybe we turn this into night and we get rid of that dragon and this spotlight. So let's start with that then. So what we want to do now is find an angle that works the best for our scene. Because we just wanna, or at least in this tutorial, we just wanna do a small area that is worked properly. And then you can on your own replicate it everywhere that you want. But for now, we just do a small one. So if we're doing a small one, we need to find a good angle to work with. So maybe this one is good. You need to hold Ctrl and press 1, and that way you save the location of your camera. In case you just move it around and then you just miss the camera angle that you liked, you just press 1 again and you snap back to it, right? But maybe a little bit more on the right side, maybe like that. Maybe this looks good. So again, hold Ctrl and 1. Now what we want to do next is probably just change the light, the directional light. So we make it be at night and maybe change some colors and probably just change the post process once we're almost done with everything, right? With the mist, with the snow. So directional light, let's just locate it. And I want to move it here. So when I press 1, it's in front of me and I can just modify it here. So let's see. Maybe like that, could be. I want the sun behind that thing. And then we just right there. Hold on, we almost get it. What if here we get a little bit bluish and then make it fade away like this? I think that could work, although maybe a little bit more to here, and maybe a little bit more like that. I think this is getting there. Let's get rid of this dragon. Let's get rid of this spotlight too, which is this green light here. Okay, that gives it a little bit better look. Intensity, perhaps we can modify it. Let's see. Yeah, this looks good. Now let's go to the atmosphere here. Sky atmosphere, and on the right leg scattering, perhaps we can make it a little bit darker, a little bit bluish. Now the next step is purely just making the smoke or well the mist for our map, and for that we're gonna use one of the textures inside of the starter content, and we're also gonna go to Substance and make a really extremely simple cloud texture that you can also make on Photoshop. And of course, it's gonna be on our Teachable too, right? So you can download everything. So on the started content, just type smoke, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, smoke. It's this one, smoke UV. Although we can also use the smoke. Oh, this one is way too small. This one is not. It's not gonna work. And how is this smoke sub UV? Okay, 2K. That's fine. All right. So we wanna go to our maps, no environment, and here let's just create a new folder. Let's say it's in VFX, and inside here materials. By the way, I'm creating folders with Ctrl Shift and N. And here textures, and one more for particles. So now that we have these 3 folders, we can again go here and type smoke, and just this one, just drag it here and say copy. Now we have it here. Now we need another one, and for that one we'll go to substance. Remember that you can also make this texture on Photoshop. Just go new substance and go for a 2K texture. And again, this is really simple. Just type press spacebar to open this this slider. Is this a slider? Well, to open this and just type cloud 2. I think, yeah, it's cloud 2. Just give it some disorder. You just don't want really dark areas, I think. So maybe like that is fine. And just in case we want to also add levels, and I just drag this and let go to create it, and then just probably something with some contrast, just in case. I'm not sure if we will use this one, but again, just in case. So save the first one, and I already have my folder here, environment effects, cloud, and this is gonna be T cloud, and we want a PNG here. So here, PNG, and save. And for the other one, we want the cloud contrast, also PNG, and save it. And that's all we need for this. So we go back to this node project, and we click on import, and let's bring up our where is this? Okay, there we go. Our textures. So these 2, open them, let it load. Oh, it doesn't appear because we are searching still for smoke. So okay, there we go. And we should start making our material now. So right click, material, m underscore, let's say it's named cloud, and let's enter it. All right. For this material, we want this to be unlit, and also we want it to be translucent. Let's hold Ctrl and spacebar to bring the content drawer, and just gather all of your textures and bring them here. Yeah, we want this here, and this here. So our main texture is gonna be this one on the middle. You can preview it here. And what we wanna do is we want to use this top texture to give some noise inside of each one of these little smokes. And right now, if we just add them together, first, of course, just stop the previewing. If we add them together, and we just hook this here, you can see that the noise is on just on some, right? Because this texture is just way too big. So in order to fix that, we just want to create a texture coordinate and just plug this here. And this probably just 8 by 8, because this one here is just 8 clouds by 8 clouds, right? So just make it 8 by 8. And now if you just check it, you can see that each one of them has the same noise. But this is not looking so well because they are also the same, right? So we need to find a way to modify the UV, to modify the UVs of this noise. Maybe just move them to the right or something like that, right? So let's find a way to do that. Let's put this here, bring up an add, we want to bring up two constants. We want to append them. So they are directions. And just click this here on the add. Then we need to make a multiply. Oh, sorry. We plug this here. And here on the bottom, one more constant. We want a floor. And just plug this here. All right. If we start moving the constants here, you probably won't see much because whenever you move it, it just loads, right? So we probably just want to make a material instance so it is easier to visualize. So just right click, material instance, and let's enter. If you see nothing, it's because we didn't make a parameter of each one. So let's convert to parameter. Let's say direction 1. Let's name this parameter again. Okay. And this one is gonna be opacity. Okay. Now we can apply and go to the instance. And if we don't change the opacity, it doesn't matter what we do here, we won't see anything. So probably for the opacity, we just want, what, 1.1? Like this. You can see something now. And now if we start moving this, you can see how this is working now, right? This has the directions that we need. So for this one, 1.25, for that's fine. And for the later one, the 2.9. Okay. Maybe this is what we need. It's still looking a little bit like the same, but perhaps we're gonna work more on it later. Let's see how the material turns out. So background is, let's put the default values here. So 1.25, and this one was 2.9, I think, 2.9. This one was 1.125. All right, this is the first part. Now we probably should start making the opacity. Before we go on the opacity, we should probably just add a particle color. Particle color, so it is able to communicate with our particle system, right? So we can make it fade away or change color inside of Niagara. So hold M and left click for bringing up a multiply. Hook this here and hook this here and plug it on the emissive color. Now we can start working on the opacity. So for this one, for now, just hold M, left click for multiply, grab the alpha, grab the alpha and grab this one and just plug it on the opacity. And this is gonna bring up a couple of issues and let's check them right now. So just click on apply. Let's come back to our map and you don't need to do this part, just watch it. But you can do it if you want. So I'm bringing up a plane. I'm rotating it and I'm making it way bigger. Way bigger, okay. And let's add our material to this shape. Okay. So there are a couple of issues now. You can see that whenever this material or whenever this shape is crossing another geometry, you can see this sharp line. And our mist is going to be everywhere, right? And it's going to be colliding with other objects. So we cannot have this really sharp line. And the other one is that if the mist is on your face and you keep advancing, it just never goes away, right? And it just looks really low quality. It just really looks really bad. So we need to modify those two things inside the material. Sorry, let's save for now. Okay, let's go on the cloud. And first, let's make it fade away once you approach. And this one is fairly simple. So let's modify this before these two are linked together. So just bring up a multiply, put this here, and then hook this here. See, so we're just modifying these two, and then it's been multiplied by the particle opacity. So in here we want a pixel depth, we want a constant, and we also want a sphere mask. Okay, hook them both here. And now we need the opposite of this. So what this does, let's just plug it in, is that you will only be able to see whatever is inside this rectangle once you get close enough, right? Once you get far, it just disappears. We need the contrary of that, so we need to bring a 1 minus and plug this here. And we also will need to modify whatever is inside of this sphere mask. So the hardness is just way too strong. Probably a 10 is fine. And the radius, just for this demonstration, probably 1K. And we click on apply. Now we can see it from far away. If we get close, you see that it starts fading away, right? And then the transition is really soft. And we can just crank this up more if you want, but this is just an example, right? We should check it again once we are on with the actual particle, right? Not this rectangle. So we can just leave it this at the base 230 for now. This is okay. Now we need to deal with this sharp line here, and this is even more simple than this fade. So in here we just wanna multiply it. And here we want a depth fade, and just plug it here and just click on apply. So now you can see that there is this really soft fade between this rectangle and the floor, and we can continue cranking it up. Sure, we can do it, but again, we should try it once we have the particle running, right? Not with this rectangle. But there is still a couple, or well, one more thing that I would like to make on this material. We probably want to make each one of these smokes have a little highlight or variation, and that you can see once these clouds intersect geometry, right? Because if we just apply this, if we look at this way, you can see that, yeah, there is now this fade in the cloud, but they all seem a little bit too equal, right? You can see a line here, right? And if we just keep squaring them like this, you can see a line. So on this fade node that we put, maybe we can put some configuration to have a different noise in here, right? So we need to modify the fade distance, and that's why we have this texture here. So let's multiply the red channel, and we just want to hook this here. And let's say that on the opacity, probably just 1, and click on apply. Let's see how that looks. So far nothing much is showing. We still can see the line, and actually there is no more fade. So we probably want to crank this up in here. What about 400? Will this maybe work? Well, now the fade is stronger, but we can see that maybe the effect is a little bit stronger here rather than here. And the issue is that this noise is affecting the whole texture, right? It is not affecting each one of these. And remember, to affect each one of these, we need to make it an 8 by 8, which is what we did here. So just simply hook this here. And now let's click on apply, and let's test how that looks. And now you can see how, as it goes down, it starts to change, right? Now it is not just a straight line that is just devouring everything. Although, of course, that you can see that there is still a line. Now there is difference. Now there is a different noise going on, right? Okay, we can still tweak this a little bit more though. Like, for example, probably just put in a clamp here. And the clamp just 0 to 1, and that is fine. But sorry, But in here, probably we just add a power to intensify it a little bit more. Maybe a power of 2 is fine. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm quite liking this. I think we are done with the smoke now, and we can start making the particle system. We probably just start by adding these sub UVs and then making a believable mist. So let's go on particles. Oh, of course, let's save first. All right, and let's create, right click and just go for Niagara system. New system from selected emitters. And we probably should choose the hanging particulates, although maybe we could also do a simple sprite burst. For now, just hanging, click on the plus and then go on finish. And this will name it NS, let's say this is named Mist01, because we'll have plenty on different directions and probably also velocities. Well, maybe not plenty, but maybe 3 at least, or 2. We'll see. So double click to open it. And this is our system here. And well, first, let's set up these sub UVs. And in order to be able to see this properly, let's make lesser spawns, like what about 5? And let's make them bigger for sure. So what about something like that? Oh, sorry, something like that, and something like that, maybe. Maybe we could leave it at that. Maybe we could make it even bigger. Some maybe like that and like that. Okay. We now probably want to give this a little bit more velocity. You know, for now, spawn rate 1. You can see this big sprite here. Okay, fine. And now it's leaving a little bit too less, I think. Okay. Let's put our material that we made, the cloud. So let's select it and let's place it here. And when this spawns, you can see that it is still 8 by 8. So we need to modify the sub UV. We go here on, again, sprite renderer and sub UV. We need to put 8 by 8. And you see that now it's working, but you're only seeing one sprite. It is not moving. It has no animation. So here on the particle spawn, or well, no, on the particle update, because we need it to be constant, we just type sub UV and we pick up the sub UV animation. And that should be it. Now it is live, although we see it a little bit choppy, right? Like it's a little bit on slow-mo. We probably want it to leave a little bit less, so probably about a 3 and a 5. This is better. Yep, this is slightly better. And since we're barely going to be able to see this, we don't really need to put that much detail into this, right? Oh, one thing that we need here on the sprite renderer, on the sub UVs, we need to click on the blending enabled. That's gonna make it a little bit smoother, and that's good. Okay. Now let's try placing it on our map. So we just drag it here. This first mist, we want it on our face. Something that is gonna a little bit cloud our vision. So around here maybe. If we oh, let's just get rid of this transparency here. So let's press 1. Okay. And probably right now you're scared. This is not looking good. It's way too strong. And indeed, it is really so strong. So let's get here on the values. On the scale sprite size, we don't want it to shrink. We want it to go from big to bigger. So probably, let's say, maybe this is fine here on 0.1. And then on 0.7, it can still be a little bit bigger. And at the end, at the end here, let's expand it a little bit. It just grows like what, 1.5. If we press F, we center the curves. Maybe this is good. Let's select them all, right click, and go on auto. Okay, so it doesn't shrink because that's not how the smoke behaves, right? Or the mist behaves. Okay, so this is here on the map, and we can already see a couple of things. Like for example, here on the bottom, there are some really hard gray spots. We need to get rid of that. We need to modify the material. But first, let's get rid of this really strong color. So let's go on scale color, and on in this point, we probably want it on 0.1. We can test how that looks. This is still way too strong. We probably want to tint it a little bit blue too. So here, let's just do a little bit of blue, and let's scroll it down. Yeah, this is very subtle. This could be. I'm still not fully convinced though. It's way too bright, and again, this bottom is looking really bad. We need to fix that. So maybe a little bit like this, and a little bit darker. We again need to probably modify the material a little bit more. So let's try and do that right now. We're here in the material, and this trick that we were doing here is not looking that great, so we probably will have to blend it a little bit. This power is probably too strong. A 1.2 is fine. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, now it is a little bit better, but it's still really not good. So let's probably here just multiply this result by another depth fade that uses the same opacity. And oh wait, before doing this, this constant of the opacity, let's lower it to 0.3. Let's apply it, and let's see how that looks. That is starting to look a little bit better, right? Slowly. And actually, I think the bottom part, oh yes, so sometimes you can see the little holes. So let's continue modifying it. So we are multiplying this other depth fade. We are sharing this opacity, but this fade distance, we probably want this on 400. And let's move this a little bit to the side. So this result, we just hook it here. And we go and apply. Let's see how that looks now. Okay, it is incredibly subtle. Maybe we don't need it to be this subtle, but I think that the bottom part is almost solved. Let's make it a little bit stronger. 0.6 or maybe it is 0.5, but let's try it. Yeah, that's way too strong. But now when the smoke crosses the mesh, it does not saturate in that way. It feels more organic that way. Okay, now we probably well, we need to make it a little bit slower here, softer. So 0.5 at the end, I think it was the way to go. Let's see. Yep, I think this is probably really good. Now we should add some kind of speed because I pressed delete. Control C, sorry. So I'm thinking this is our main screen. Yeah, that's good. But we don't want this mist to be constantly on your face, right? We want some speed. So what is going through my mind right now is we're gonna have this main mist just go across. Okay, fine. Then we'll have another mist over here that you can clearly see. It's going here. Maybe we can have another mist like going up here, you know, or more going up here. Then of course we're gonna have a snowstorm, right? But for now we're just handling with the mist. Maybe these three variations are fine. We'll have to see how everything looks once we have our snowstorm. So all of our material is fine now, I think, and we should really save. And let's try to put some speed on the emitter, on the system now. Taking a look at our mist right now, you see that it is kinda whitish at the middle. We're not seeing any shape from the sub-UV animation, and that is because right now it has no speed. So they are spawning on top of each other, right? And they are just becoming really white. We need to have some kind of speed going. So okay, so this is our main point. Maybe we just move it a little bit here. Yeah, maybe that's good. A little bit here. And now let's just go a little bit far away, and let's add some speed. So let's go here on the mist. I'm gonna put this on the side. Let's close this cloud material, like whatever it tells you to. Okay. Oh, small lag. All right. And this, we wanna give it some speed for sure. So on particle spawn, should be fine. Type velocity. I'm not seeing much here. There we go. Type velocity, and probably this is, you know, we need to make it big. There are way too many options that we cannot see if we do that. So here on velocity, we want some range of speeds. So here on the little arrow, just type uniform, and it's gonna give us a random range vector. So probably minimum is like what, 1K, and maximum like this. Okay, so that's not the right direction, right? We want it to go left. So we put 0 here, or actually like 120 and minus 120. And this we can modify now. 1K and 1. Okay. So how does that look? Okay. Now you can see that we are seeing more shapes, but this is probably still not as fast as it should be. So let's continue cranking up that speed and seeing what works and what doesn't. What about like this? And like this maybe? Okay, that is faster now. That is good. Maybe the particle is just leaving way too little now. So let's go on the spawn rate, and before modifying the lifetime, maybe we just want more than one, or maybe, okay, maybe we can, on the spawn probability, we can just put 0.5. Sometimes it spawns, sometimes it doesn't. The emitter state, the loop duration is just gonna be 1 second, so it loops faster. Let's see. Oh, and it just stops. Okay, maybe the probability is not that high then. Or maybe we just don't put any. Let's say 0.9. How does it look? Okay, that is looking better. We maybe need to add some drag and, of course, increase the lifetime. So here on the initialized particle, what about 6.5? And what about 4.2? Okay. The drag that came with this default is probably way too high. 1.2. Maybe we just leave it at 0.5 and 0.7. How is it looking? I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So we've done this before, and right now, again, our mist is going this way. And I see a couple of issues with this mist. Mainly, it is not going fast enough. This does not look violent. It does not look like a snowstorm at all. It looks like something really calm. So we need to make these faster. And apart from that, I would like to have a couple more mists going on this pathway, maybe smaller ones. And in here, we could have a different kind of mist. Maybe some really small sprites just going here on top really fast, like crashing into this thing and then going up. Something that looks nice, something like a detail mist, if you will. So for now, let's focus on fixing this mist. Again, although it looks nice, it's going by way too slow. Way too slow. So let's go to our mist and let's see what we can do to actually fix this. So first of all, we want to change. Here we can't see much, right? Because it is almost invisible. So I'm just gonna hold Alt and with my left click, just drag this scale color to duplicate it. I'm just gonna hide this. And in here, I just want this point to go to 10. And then on initialize particle, if we can see, well, we don't really need to change the color. We can already see it quite nicely. All right. So let me think. We should probably reduce the initial velocity. What about like 800 and 600? Let me see how that looks right now. So you see that it stays more on its place. Okay. Now let's add it some acceleration. Acceleration force. And this is going on Y, on positive. So let's also go on positive, like 2K, maybe? Is that too much? This feels like a step forward. But there are way too few of them. Way too few. So we can crank up the spawn rate. And also it feels like the acceleration may be too much. It just may be way too much. So back to acceleration force. Let's say it's what? 800 maybe? Okay, this does not look bad. I would like to have a little bit more variation on the, where is it? On the X, so maybe minus 300. Oh, sorry. Minus 300 and 300 positive. And I think, yeah, let's add more on the spawn rate. So we probably raise the spawn probability and see how that looks. Okay, let's say it's 2 then. If we go back to our main camera, this could work. This could work. Let's see it on, well, if I could use my two screens, then I wouldn't really do this scale color cranking up, because I can just modify the Niagara on the right and then just see it on the map, right? So here, how does that look now? So it is definitely faster. I think it's going in the right direction. It could even go faster now. Yeah, definitely it could go faster, but we should start seeing it with the snow particles and then decide. Right now we're seeing it this way. I don't think this looks bad. We need to add a couple more in the background now and see how that works. Let's open our content browser and thinking about this, inside of this particle system, there's gonna be our mist and also our GPU snow particles. So it makes no sense that this is called mist. This should be the combination of everything, right? So this is a wrong name. This doesn't say anything to us. This should be named something like Snowstorm Main. This sounds better. And now let's make the little snow details on the map. Probably something on the road. So let's right click and duplicate this. And this is gonna be named Snowstorm Storm Details. Let's enter this. And probably, well, first let's put this in the map. Let's bring it here. Let's place it probably around here. Maybe a little bit on top. Probably like that is fine. So right now, obviously it is the same as our old mist, and we need something definitely smaller. So let's just go for something smaller then. Let's go and initialize particle. We probably just want something that is 700 and what, 900? We probably want something that dies way quicker too, though. So let's see. Oh, okay, this is smaller for sure. I think this is the right amount because if we snap back to our old view, yeah, I think this is a right size. Now, of course, besides this, we also need to be spawning way more particles. So let's say it's 10. Oh, small lag for some reason. There we go. Okay, now we just need to adjust the lifetime, most likely. The lifetime and also the speed on... We want to make something random and we want to give some variation at the start of every particle, which I think it's best. Let's close this snowstorm main so it doesn't get in the way, please. And here, what, 1 and 1.5? Let's see. Okay, yeah, this may be a good start. We need to add the variation on the noise now. And we need to add a couple of modules here. First, on the update particle, let's select or type wind force, and this, if we put 900 here, let's see how it reacts. Okay, nothing much is happening. That is because of our wind scale, I think. The computer is acting up a little bit. Okay. So let's start modifying this then. Let's make this a uniform or random, sorry, type random range float, and maybe variation between 1 and 10, I think. And at spawn, we only want the variation to happen at spawn. And we also need to modify the air resistance, I'm pretty sure. Okay, this is way faster, sure. It has more variation, that's nice. But this still does not feel so organic, right? Let's snap to 1. Yeah, I don't really like how that looks at all. Let's go back here to snowstorm and let's modify the air resistance. So let's say again random, and this is gonna be or actually not random but uniform. Yep, let's leave this at -1 and 1. Probably that's good. Okay, that's an improvement. Now we need to add probably another force in the mix. What if we add some vortex force? All right, and for this one, maybe let's see how that behaves. That's already making it a little bit more random, I think, but it's not notorious at all. So the force amount, we want it to be random too, or well, uniform. And this, let's say it's 100 and 300 here. Probably the vortex axis, we just don't want it on C, we want it on Y. we leave it as a simulation, it is already creating some different velocities, which is nice. But this is still lacking some things. Mainly, I think, let's make it have a wider angle, or well, make this palm be wider. So on the shape location on the box and plane, we can probably just make it really big, like 2K. And we can now watch how that is looking. Alright, maybe we can just put it a little bit higher, like this. It is starting to look good, but I think we have way too many velocities. So we have the vortex force and we also have the wind force. This alone should be enough to drive our mist. But I don't think that we really need an acceleration force. Let's just uncheck it or erase it. And also this velocity, don't really need it. So let's get rid of those two. And let's see how this looks. I think this is really looking way better. We should duplicate this though. Maybe one right here. I just used Alt and left click to just duplicate it. And this one, let's just move it over here, I think. Or there. More to this side. A little bit. Okay, let's press 1. This is already taking shape. I don't like how it's forming here on the right side. So let's keep moving here. Maybe a little bit here. Okay, this is very nice. There is a hole here though that we really need to fill. Let's just put this one a little bit a little bit closer, because if we look at the main picture, this is looking nice. Okay, now I will want to here maybe make some smoke that goes, well, mist that goes this way, or maybe just straight into us, right? And we're gonna have a couple of problems here, because first let's save, of course. And our problem is that if we just select this and hold Alt to duplicate this, let's just place this, what, here, to this side. We want this to blow from this side to our face, right? So, okay, let's rotate it, right? You can see that it is not following the direction you're putting. Let's Control C to erase that. And the issue is that we need to go here on Properties and check Local Space. That way it's gonna follow us. Okay, nice. We probably want this in this direction. And also, hold on, I'm so sorry. We want this probably to blow from here, I think. So let's just, maybe this height is fine. Maybe we want this around here. Maybe like that. And we want to pull it a little back. This seems good. But let's turn it a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. So now, sure, fine, it is blowing towards here, right? Maybe we could even put it a little bit like that. Sure, but it is not following the same wind pattern as this. And it would make sense that if they are so close, it should happen. So let's go, we need to add some curve to this noise, right? So we need to make another particle. On details, just right click, duplicate. And this one is gonna be named curve details. Let's enter this. It is here. Oh, but first, of course, let's just select this curve details and let's replace this here, right? So our particle is here. And let's erase this one. In here, it should be fairly simple. We just want the wind force to blow probably in this direction. Oh, it's on the other direction. Minus. There we go. Okay, how is it looking there? I'm liking it. I don't particularly enjoy that there is no mist in this direction, though. So what if we just duplicate what we have done on top? And of course, we need to make sure that they are not intersecting, right? So let's go here to our snow, duplicate this, and make this one sit right here. We should probably turn this a little bit as well. And make it have less lifetime, because right now, potentially, or let's just pull it way back here. Yeah, this looks way better. Way better. Okay, now to end with the mist, because it's already looking pretty nice. Let's put some here, some detail around here. Let's save once again. And this is for me because I crash sometimes. And let's see. Let's make something different. So let's grab one of these. And the same, right? Just Alt and drag. Just duplicate. We're gonna bring this guy here. Okay. And now we wanna duplicate these details. So just here, duplicate. And let's name this storm storm down. Let's enter it and remember to replace it, otherwise we're not gonna see it. So yep, snowstorm down. Okay, now on the initialize particle, sorry, on the shape location, let's just disable the sphere. We just want that huge plane. So what, 12K, and this one 1K and 1K maybe. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it is certainly white, but since we have so few particles, we can't really see much. So let's pump that up to 100. Okay, we can definitely see it now. And we want this to turn 90, sure. Let's just put this on the very edge of this. So how does that look from our point of view? Okay, maybe a little bit lower, like that. So we want it to go down and then to the left. Right now, this is not looking good, really. So what about the size? Should we do anything about the size? Right now, this is, let's pump it up, 1K. And like that. Okay, bigger. That's certainly an improvement. Now I think we will have to enable both of these again so we can toy with the different velocities, because we didn't really need those for the ones that we made. We just need wind. But here I think to make the animation of going down and left, we need something else. So at velocity, this one probably just 0 here and 0 here. And also, probably 0 here too. We don't want it to modify anything that the wind is doing. We just want it to go downwards. So let's say what, minus 1k and minus 1k. How's it looking? Okay, it is going down. Let me make sure that it is actually going down, because sometimes it could be hard to tell. Oh, lag spike. There we go. So let's say this is minus 9k. Okay, it is definitely worked. All right. So minus 1k is fine. Okay. Now probably we also wanna enable the acceleration force, and we don't wanna do much here. Again, we don't want to toy with the direction of the wind, so 0 there. What about 2k here? How does it look? Okay. All right. That, I think it's not bad. It's fine that it is on world. Minus 50 here. I don't really enjoy it. I don't find it that believable for some reason. So let's keep tweaking it. Right now, I feel that the wind may be a little bit too strong, right? And let's position this a little bit better. So like this, and a little bit on top. Okay. The wind may be a little bit too strong, so 500 maybe. Okay, that's a little bit better, but I still want this to go down. So let's push it down. What if wind just says we go down now? That could be a little bit more though. There's 100. Now this is way too strong compared to our other currents. And this is not really enjoyable to watch. It's way too strong, way too fast as well. So minus 300 is fine. That minus 1k maybe too much. Or, you know, what we can also do is just turn this like this. And then the problem should be solved. Yep. I think that's looking quite nice. And I lied. This is not the last step for the mist. I'm thinking, what if we also have some mist? Just very softly, just going from here to the bottom. Because it makes no sense that the whole map is with this mist and there's nothing here, right? It should get stuck within these cracks and then just let go, right? So let's make that last detail, and then we should be finally done with this. Okay. We're gonna do something really simple. Probably just grab a detail and duplicate it. And let's see if it's gonna be good enough. So we put this here. Let's move this around here. Rotate it a little bit like this. That's the direction. And let's make it go down. How does it look? Okay, a little bit too high. I feel like this should be bigger. It's way too small. So I guess that we will have to create another system at the end. So this is snowstorm details. Let's duplicate it. Let's name this details big details. Really big details. Erase this one. Let's replace this here. Okay. And let's make this what? The biggest, maybe. I wonder if that's good. Yeah, I think this is good. I just wouldn't want it. Right here, it's making an overdraw. So I don't want that. Well, more than we already have it, right? So this here falling like this, we won't see. We just want this small part. So maybe we just make the particle die way earlier. So at 0.6 and 0.5. Well, if we do that, that messes up our speeds and our timings, and this happens. And we really do not want that at all. So Control C to both. And we need to stop this here. So spawn rate, probably just make it a 2. And that should be good enough. Let's see. We press 1. Yeah, I think that's believable enough. Yeah, that kind of solves it too. Let's put it around here. From here, it does not look believable, but from here, it looks good enough, you know? I see some flying on front, wait. This is not good though. Need to spin it like that. Okay, that's good. Now let's do the same for the other side. From this edge here. Okay. I guess that should be fine. Yep, I like it. This looks nice. So now that we're finally done with all of this, we should start doing the snow. Finally, the last step. That doesn't mean that it's not gonna be complicated, but or long. We shall see. Um, but let's start making the material then. Let's save once again, and let's create our new material. Right click, material. Let's name this m underscore snow. And for this material, it's gonna be rather complex, so we're gonna do it slowly together so you don't get lost. So the properties, this one needs to be translucent, and you can leave it on default lit. And we really just want to make something basic right now so we can create the behavior of the particle system. And then we can finish the material. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little bit hard to visualize what exactly we are doing with the particle. Or with, I mean with the material. So just hold 3, left click, hook this on emissive, and let's give it a color, maybe like that. And now right click and radial gradient. There we go. And just plug it on opacity. And you can see this is something incredibly basic. Okay, now let's go on the particle. And again, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it is not the greatest idea to have snow on each one of these systems. Maybe we could do with just one system overall that is affecting our front camera or something along those lines. So let's, I mean, we could try both, but for now, let's try creating a single one. And if it doesn't look nice, we can start adding different motions and on different systems, right? So Niagara system, next. We want a simple sprite burst and click on finish. Let's name this NS Snow GPU and let's enter this. Let's make sure that we put our material, which is gonna be looking very similar to this. Let it load. There we go, it is incredibly similar. And we do not want this particle to just repeat once. So first, we want this to be infinite, and well, probably the loop duration is fine. We'll have to see that. We do not want a spawn burst instantaneous. We want to erase this. We want here spawn, we want a spawn rate. And for now, let's say that this is 300. They are overlapping each other and we do not want that. So we go on initialize particle, well, first on initialize particle. And on lifetime, we do not want a static lifetime. We want uniform, oh, sorry, random. And in this random, we just want probably 0.5 and 0.75. So they have different lifetimes, so they die on different motions. Okay. Now, the sprite size also needs to be different. Like right now it is way too big, so let's just say it's 8. We don't give it any randomness, just plain 8. Now we need to go for the shape location. And this shape, now you can see it working here. This shape is probably just a sphere, a really big sphere actually. So what about 4K? It's huge. And you know, now that we have this huge sphere, let's just crank up this spawn rate. Let's just add one more 0 here. Okay. We can barely see them right now, huh? Maybe we will end up making something as big as this shape, but for now, let's just say it's 1K so we can visualize them better, so you can understand this a little bit better. Okay, so now we want to give this a different force, right? So we probably want here a vortex force. And this is gonna help us move the particle in a more erratic behavior, if you will. So probably the force amount is just 100. We just put 1 here, maybe -1 here. Okay, this is not exactly doing what we want, and I think it's because we need one more force involved in this. Like, this is gonna spin our particles, fine, it's gonna give it a different motion, but we probably want something like curl noise or, yeah, let's try curl noise force. You probably just want to leave it at medium, otherwise it's gonna be way too heavy. But noise strength, let's just go for something really strong, like 10K. You can already see them really wild, like a snowstorm maybe. But these are just going in circles, right? What about 1K here? That's a little bit better, just a little bit better. And maybe around here we can make some modifications too. So pan noise field, we probably want to move this as well. What about 10K here too? All right. It's still kind of sketchy, right? So probably just 1 here. We leave this as it is. And let's add it some normal velocity now. Now I think we just need some initial velocity here on the spawn that gives it a direction, and then I think it's gonna look pretty nice. So for the velocity, let's just here velocity. Okay, at velocity, it's fine if it's linear, but we want some random range here. So here type random and something really strong. So something like this, and probably something like this here. Now you can see it coming to life, right? So the particles are really random and they are flying on the direction that we probably want this direction on our map. Let's just put this in and see how this looks. So our particles here, Snow GPU. Let's put it here. Now you see how this is working, right? This is looking very nice. And this is the motion that we want. But probably we want a little bit different movement here, at least a little bit. Minus 250 and 250. And what if we just put 1K here? Okay. That is looking very nice. I like this a lot. But now you can see that the snow particle is like a sphere, right? It is really round. And I would like this particle to have like a size by life, something that modifies the particle size, right? Because right now it is a little, well, if you see it from afar, it's looking really nice, right? But it could look a lot nicer than this, and a lot nicer. So let's check a few things before we enter our material. Let's erase this old particle system. And here in the sprite renderer, if we want our particles to be affected, oh, please, let's save. I'm gonna get in trouble otherwise. If we want our particles to change size with speed, we could here adjust size by speed, sure, but it's not gonna get modified. We first need to tell the particle alignment that it's gonna be modified by velocity. And we probably don't wanna, oh, the sorting mode, we also wanna change it. We wanna see the new particles in front of us rather than the old ones. So custom descending is fine. And now we can add the size by speed. Where is it? Scale sprite size by speed. Okay, and now for this, the minimum factor is 1, fine. The maximum 4, and on Y is where we need to really modify it. So probably 10. Now you see how they change. Well, they're certainly way too big right now, for sure. But we could just increase the shape size to the amount that we previously agreed on, and you can see that it is already way smaller. So let's now change the position of this. Like we could turn it to, let's say, over here. That looks nice. And let's move it probably what, here maybe. And let's make it a little bit higher. Around here could be. And in here, probably just bring it. Yep, I think this looks good. So if we press 1, you can see this snow going towards the direction of the mist. This looks nice. I like it. And now we should modify the material. And of course, there are a couple of things that I'm seeing. Like, for example, I don't think there's enough mist. If we just cancel this snow, this looks a little too less mist for the amount of snow that we have. And of course, it's easier to just modify the snow, right? But remember that this is, I mean, it's easier to modify the snow rather than the mist, since we have so many mist particles. But this is a snowstorm after all, so I think that we need to add a couple of more mists on top, right? But I think that this behavior right now looks really nice. And now we should just go and modify the material. Again, we're gonna go really slow. So just erase these two. We do not need them anymore. And we're gonna divide the material in a couple of parts. First, we want to make the material emissive as we get closer. So we should just do pixel depth. Just hold one left click for a constant. Let's bring up a sphere mask. Let's hook them both here. Now let's hold L and left click for a lerp. Plug it on the alpha, and then plug this on the emissive color. So right now we have a little issue, and that is this sphere mask. Let's just increase it to 1K and the hardness to 10. Okay, so now if this is far, well, if you see the snow from afar, it's not gonna lit up, but if you get closer, as you get closer, it gets brighter, right? This is really simple and it looks nice. It's just some nice detail. Okay, we can just order this a little bit and put it really far. Now the second part, we need to make the base color. So we want to hold 3 and left click 2 times. This top one, we want to convert it to a parameter, and this is gonna be color edge. And the bottom one, again, parameter, and this is gonna be color core. For the color edge, we want it to be like a soft blue, something like this, well, light blue. And for the color core, something like yellowish, not so bright, maybe that is nice. Now we want a lerp. We want to plug this on A, plug this on B, plug this on B, and also hold 1 for a constant and bring it on alpha, and we want this on 0.7. Just to keep things ordered, let's just put this here so it doesn't get in the way of anything. And this should be going on the base color, but we're gonna be mixing it more, so we should just leave it as here. We probably just pull it back a little bit. Let's hold M for a multiply, and let's plug this here. And now to this multiply, we need another lerp, probably around here. So hold L, and we need to bring a particle speed, probably a little bit too far. We want to hold S to bring up a constant, and name this also particle speed. We want this to have a base of 700. Nice. Let's put them a little bit closer. Now we want a divide, so hold D, left click, plug them both. And now from this divide, we want a clamp. Nice. Now, this clamp is what is gonna be helping us on our lerp. So just put it on the alpha. This lerp is gonna be hooked over here. You can just put this a little bit like this, so we don't mix and it's a little bit ordered. Okay, and we now need to solve the A and the B of the lerp, so we go a little bit back. We need to make two radial gradients. One, we copy it, we paste it, and each one of these we need to hold 1. So 2 constants for each: radius, density, radius, and density. For the top one, 0.5. For the bottom one, also 0.5, or at least right now, I think. Now this one, 0.3, and this one, probably a 5. Now, let me check if this is working though. So just plug this on a multiply, and let's see the preview. Okay, yeah, we wanted the top one to be soft and the bottom one to be hard. So this is fine. The density 5 did it. Okay, so we wanted the really hard one to go on A and the soft one to go on B. Let's just plug this right here and see how this is looking so far. Yeah, I guess we can't really preview it so much right now, but it's coming along nicely. We should unhook this. Now that we have this part ready, let's probably put it a little bit here, so it is a little bit more ordered. And we want this whole small system that we made here to be multiplied here. And we want to do almost the same trick that we did here. So again, pixel depth, we want to hold 1 for the constant. We want a sphere mask. We want to plug this on B. And we want now the opposite of the sphere mask. So just go 1 minus. And this sphere mask, we can say it's 5, it's 10. We don't want it so strong. And we just plug it here. So what is this doing? This, as we, oh, I guess it's not working just yet. Okay, that is fine. That is no issue. But now this multiplication, we need to do another one, multiply, put this here, and right click, and then say particle fade. So particle motion blur fade. Now, okay, I know that it's getting a little bit complex, but we're not that far from our end result, really. Now, this whole thing here, we want to multiply it again. And we're gonna move this a little bit to the side. Now we want to give this whole system a little bit of noise. So hold T, texture sample, and as texture, let's just type snow. Maybe smoke then. Smoke tile D. Okay. Now the setup for this is really simple. We just want the particle position. And from this one, we want a component mask. So type component. We just want the channel R here. We want to multiply this by 0.5. Okay, 0.5. And then we want to append. So hold A. Oh, that's that. So just type append. We want it on the B, though, not on the A. And here, texture coordinate. And this one goes on the A. And now, finally, another component mask. But this one, yeah, I think it's just on RNG. And now on the UEs. Now let's plug this here. And we need, I think, 2 more lerps. So one, our first lerp just here on B. The alpha, we want a constant. This is probably 0.65, although we may change it later. And for the A, we just wanna plug this here. And now it's fine. Now we need another lerp. We plug this on B again. A is this result here. And our alpha is the clamp that we used here for our particle speed. Okay. Now, last, we need our particle to interact with the Niagara system. So, one multiply, and in here, probably particle color. We want the opacity here. Okay. And last, to be finally done with the opacity, just put up a clamp and plug this here. And you can kind of now see what is going on. This is the noise that we made. And these two, you're gonna have to see them in action once the particle is moving at really high speeds. So we now need the base color, and that is the last thing, but quite honestly, we just need to mix these two. So hold M for multiply, and multiply this with the color, and just plug this on base color. And that should be it. We are finally done with our particle, with our material, sorry. And now we can preview how this is looking. Oh, of course, we need to modify the color still, but There are some things wrong with the material and also the system. Let's first go to the material though. And even though we are spawning many particles, we don't see many, we just see few. And if you notice, you can only see particles that are near you. And I think the guilty one is this little system here. Because if we zoom in and we zoom out, we can see how the particle disappears when we are out and appears when we are in. And we want the contrary. So we swap these numbers and then it should be fine. Now you can finally see them. Nice. Okay, nice, finally. And there are still a couple of things wrong with this, right? But I think with the material we're fine. And now we need to act on the GPU. So first, our system is named Snow GPU, but this is a CPU emit system. So let's change it. GPU. Oh, what happened? Okay, so GPU and fixed bounds. We need to put -2k, 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 and 2k, 2k, and 2k. Nice. That's one step. Now about the color, because we see that they are not being soft. They need to be way softer. So here on the particle spawn, just type color. And in here, for this, click on the arrow and we need to type linear color from vector and float. Nice. Now this needs just to be 0.1, 0.1, and 0.1. And for the alpha, we just need to type clamp. And this is just gonna be 0.1. And that should be the configuration. How is it looking now? It is way softer. I like it a lot. This is looking very gentle too. Now one last thing on the update, just type drag and just leave it like this. I think this is good. I'm enjoying this. This is looking nice. Maybe we could add more particles even. Not too many, but what about this? Okay, I'm enjoying that. Now, last thing before we go and modify the post process, we can add a couple more mist right on top, perhaps just flying around. And to do that, we can just grab one that we have already created. Maybe this one even. So let's clone it. Yeah, just like that. This is looking very nice. I think our scene is almost complete. After saving, let's now play with the post process and give it a more cinematic feeling. So let's see, bloom, we're fine, image effects, oh, big net. Let's increase it. Okay, that's perhaps too dramatic. Maybe like that. It's very nice. Depth of field, we're fine. The color grading, temperature, it's good. The global is fine, but probably the midtones and the highlights we will change. So saturation for this, let's open it up. And this one, we probably increase it a little bit. 1.6. Okay, that's looking more like it. Now, highlights. We also want to saturate it a little bit. And this, probably just reduce it to 0.5, 2.4. Yep. I'm liking that. That's fine. Scene color tint. Let's see. Probably want something like 0.6, 0.9. A little bit. Only a little bit. Something like, what? 0.6, 0.9. Could be. That is too dramatic, isn't it? Like, way too dramatic. Okay, maybe that. And let's just leave it that way. So with the film, I don't think we should mess with this at all. So Control C. So no. Global illumination, no. Ray tracing, no. Reflections. Sources materials, no. The ambient group map, motion blur. Film grain, I don't think so either. No. Control C for that. I wonder, maybe we want a dirt mask. I don't find it, so let's type it dirt. Maybe. Let's try it. Maybe cloud. Maybe this one. Intensity, let's just crank it up. If we look away, we can see it, right? On our screen. It's something really faint. And I'm just doing this for this scene, right? But let's just make something red. And now combine everything. Oh, sorry. Dirt. Why is it not showing anymore? Is it dirt? What happened? Oh, I changed my selection. Okay, no wonder. Dirt mask. Okay. Yeah, I think that is making it very interesting. We could add plenty of things, right? And we should probably add a proper mask. Not this one, but I think this is something very nice. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope that you can probably practice with this scene. Maybe you can put some collisions, or maybe you can even make it prettier, put in the snow in better places. But I hope that this gave you pretty good base to understand, right? More when you do environment effects on our scenes. And remember that we have plenty of more tutorials on our YouTube that are free. And we have also plenty that are on our Teachable, like the Genshin Impact that we just made. Well, we made it a couple of weeks ago, but it's on discount.